In this video, Supermarket Karen demands my bread, then lies to staff about me. Your working hours are 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And lady loses her mind because I'm deaf. Supermarket Karen demands my bread, then lies to staff about me. My flatmate slash BFF has sensory issues and thus strict preferences when it comes to food. I do our grocery shopping each week. He works full time, which I'm disabled and unable to work, so I do what I can to help the workload fare, especially since he's also my carer. And always get him these same damper bread rolls with no seeds. They're the softest bread available, and it's not unusual for me to get the last one on the shelf of a Friday, which was what happened today. I should also add that my genetic disorder, EDS, means that my skin doesn't age normally, so while I'm turning 32 this year, I'm often mistaken for anywhere from 17 to 25 years old, depending on the situation and how I'm dressed. Not even half a minute after I put the rolls into my trolley, I heard a woman behind me doing that inhaling through her teeth sound, followed by an ah. I turned around and was greeted by the sight of a super stereotypical Karen in every sense except for her hair, which was past her shoulders, but still straight and blonde with badly done stripy highlights. She had the 2 sizes too small yoga pants and workout top with at least 3 inches of wrinkled cleavage bursting out of it and way too much gold jewelry. She was also wearing sunnies inside the supermarket. With that simpering, wincing expression on her orange face, she said, "I'm so sorry about this, love, but I'm gonna have to ask you to give me that bread." I couldn't find the instinct and immediately burst out laughing. The whole scenario was just too much for me. Karen, hand on hip. What the hell's so bloody funny? Me, well, you must be joking, right? Karen, there's no need to be so bloody rude. Give me that bread now, or I'll be having words with your parents. Me, bristling at being spoken down to yet again. You're not having my bread, Karen. Leave me the fuck alone. And I walked away. I heard huffing and stammering behind me, but just ignored it and carried on with my shopping. I thought that was it, but of course, Karen needed to try and put me in my place, as I'm sure she'd have said it. She showed up several aisles later with a member of staff. But here's the thing, I'm a disabled woman who shops for the same exact things on the same days every week, and I've had to ask staff for help on plenty of occasions. Many of the staff at that supermarket know me fairly well, so when Karen showed up with Janelle, fake name, pointing aggressively at that little shit right there, me, she was probably quite surprised when Janelle said, "Oh, hi OP, you're a bit later than usual today, aren't you? Everything okay?" Me, "Yeah, it's just been one of those days, you know." Karen, interjecting, "That's the thieving brat who stole that bread right out of my trolley and refused to give it back." Janelle, side-eyeing Karen, "Is that really what happened, OP?" Me, "Actually, I literally just got to the shelf first. Karen here demanded to give it to her, and I guess she didn't know how to handle being told no. I'm sorry you've had your time wasted like this." Karen, "She's lying. Where are your parents, you little shit?" Me, "How about we just review the security footage and clear this up so we can all get on with our day?" Janelle, "That won't be—" Karen, to Janelle, cutting her off, "Excuse me? Are you calling me a liar? I've never been so offended in all of my life. I will not have my character assassinated by a fucking checkout chick." Yep, she genuinely said that. Janelle, with a frustrated sigh, "OP, please just carry on with your shopping. I've got this from here." Me, "Thanks, hon. Good luck." And I went to leave, knowing that hanging around would have only further inflamed the situation. Janelle to Karen, "I'm gonna have to ask you to leave." Karen started mouthing off at that, but I don't remember exactly what she said. It included something about my parents and getting Janelle fired, but I was out of there fairly quickly. I didn't see Karen again after that, and I don't know whether she left on her own accord, but I didn't hear any huge commotion, so I'm guessing she eventually did. Must remember to contact the store and give Janelle's boss good feedback about how brilliantly she handled it all. Here's hoping I don't encounter that Karen again, but if I do, I'll be sure to tell you guys about it. What an absolutely absurd creature. Your working hours are 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. To clarify a few things, this took place in Europe. I was a salaried employee, 40 hours per week. I left that job about 10 months after the event took place. I didn't get into trouble and nobody tried to fire me. My probation period was over and we have employment laws regarding constructive dismissal, so I knew their hands were tied. About 4 years back, I started a new banking job. All was well, just that the management was pretty strict with timekeeping, which was weird as we were back office. My experience was in a similar field at another bank and we had flexible schedules and received time in lieu. But rules are rules, so I followed them. I learned my tasks and got to know the wider team. Anyway, about 4 months in, I started to realize my senior manager didn't like me. I'm pretty assertive as a person, and I do know how to stand up for myself. He hated it. I would speak up during the meetings, ask questions, give suggestions, and so on, while the team would stay quiet. The week everything went south, I was working overtime, which was obviously unpaid. On Thursday, I did nearly 2 hours of overtime. On Friday, I thought I'd leave a few minutes early as I was done for the week. My manager was off. I left 10 minutes early. On Monday, I come to work and I got called into a meeting straight away. There were 3 of us in the room, myself, my manager, and my senior manager. Our conversation went as follows. My manager, MM. I heard you left work early on Friday. Me. I did. I left 10 minutes early. Did you ask for permission to leave early? Me. It was 10 minutes. You know I did about 4 hours of overtime last week. Why are we having this conversation? Senior Manager, SM, because you left early without asking for permission. As a senior, you should be setting an example for the rest of the team. Me. Is this a joke? SM. Your working hours are 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., not 9 a.m. to 5:50 p.m. You shouldn't leave early without asking for your manager or my permission first. Is that clear? Me. Got it. It's perfectly clear. I listened and started coming into the office at 9 a.m. and leaving at 6 p.m. on the dot. At first, they didn't realize what was happening, but the week after the meeting was the last week of the month, and let's say the last week of the month was intense, especially the final day. The reports had to be completed, signed off, and submitted before the month's end. We covered multiple jurisdictions and would deal with Southeast Asia in the morning and the Americas in the evening. Our team was expected to work overtime due to this. Here comes Friday, the last day of the month, showtime. I'm at my desk at 9 a.m. sharp. Most of the team have already been at the office for at least an hour. I, of course, have a cup of coffee from the cafeteria because I was a bit early. My manager looks at me and raises his eyebrow, but he doesn't say anything. Work, work, work. Break time. We had 2 20-minute paid breaks and 1 hour unpaid lunch. I'm the only person to go on my break. Lunchtime. Everyone was eating at their desks while I go to meet my friends for lunch. On the second break, I once again leave my workplace and go for a short stroll around. Back to work. About 5:45 p.m., I get a call from one of the senior managers in the U.S. She needs the report amended. There were 4 of us on that call. I'm doing the amendments as we speak and closely monitoring the time. I see it's 2 minutes to 6 p.m. 1 minute. 6 p.m. SM2, rambling about the report. Me. Apologies, but I have to stop you right there. SM2, yes? Me. It's 6 p.m. here. My day's over. SM2, huh? Me. As per my management, my working hours are 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., so I must leave now. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch up on Monday. I logged off, got my coat, wished everyone a great weekend, and left. It was 6:04 p.m. Both my manager and my senior manager were dumbfounded by what just happened, looking pale and stared at me in disbelief. It was a glorious sight. I wanted to apologize to my senior manager that I wasn't able to leave at 6 p.m. on the dot, but I thought that would have been way too passive-aggressive, so I just left. I relaxed the rule a bit after a few months. Yet, I never did more than 30 minutes of overtime. Ironically, once my stakeholders understood that I will not be available for 10 plus hours, they started collaborating earlier in the month. I would have most of my reports done and submitted by the last day of the month.